Good evening, and you're watching the Live Today show right here on CAN TV Channel 21. We are also streaming live at cantv.org/hotline. Now, this is an interactive show, and so we're counting on you to call in with your questions and comments over the next 25 minutes. Now, feel free to call the number at the bottom of your screen. That number is 312-738-1060. That number again is 312-738-1060. Now, I'm Dr. Cherie. I am your host for the Live Today show, and I am the founder of the Live Today Foundation, where our mission is to provide joy, inspiration, and free compression garments to individuals who are underserved and under-resourced living with lymphedema. So we provide free compression garments to under-resourced and underserved cancer survivors living with lymphedema. Now, if you want to find out more information about how you can support the Live Today Foundation, please feel free to go out to our website at www.live-today.org. You can feel free to shoot us an email at info@live-today.org, or you can give us a call at 754-220-0234. Now, don't forget, we're also on social media, so feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at livetoday.org. That's livetoday, DOTORG. And now, don't forget, we have a wonderful retreat planned for you guys. Yours truly, Dr. Cherie, and the Live Today Foundation will be hosting a retreat, a 3-day cruise to the Bahamas next May 15th through the 18th of 2020, where I will reveal my blueprint on how to let go and live today and every day. Now, you may ask, I don't know if this cruise retreat is for me. Well, let me ask you a couple of questions, and this is also to my audience out there on Facebook Live. Are you overwhelmed with all of the things that are bugging you right now? Would you say that you're weighed down by failed relationships, work challenges, and other conflicts? Or do you feel like your life is just going around in circles and it's not leading you to any happiness or any peace? Then this is the retreat for you. So feel free to go out to the link located at the bottom of the screen, and don't worry if you don't have time to copy that very long link that will link you to the Travel Joy website. You can also give us shoot us an email at info@live-today.org. And we can provide you with that contact information for the retreat. You can also feel free to give us a call at 754-220-0234. Oh my goodness. Wow, we have a caller already. All right, let's take this call right quick. Caller, give us your name.
My name is Bill.
Hi, Bill. Pleasure
Hey.
to meet you over the phone. What can we do for you?
Well, I had this interesting subject, but I know it's slightly off the beaten path of your subject conversation for today. But I wanted to ask, somebody in the medical with medical interest about the deregulation in today's, I guess, society with research, especially around stem cells. How that might apply or relate to your basic topic.
Well, Bill, actually, today we're going to begin a discussion with our very special guest, and we're going to talk about various different forms of research that are out there, treatments that are out there, and how it affects African Americans right here in the Chicagoland area as it relates to health disparities and our journey towards health equity. So if you'll give us a moment to have our special guest come in and share some research with you, you may find that you have the answer to your question before we even finish out today's show. How about that?
That's great. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, Bill. Thank you so much for calling in. And now, ladies and gentlemen, like I stated earlier, if you want to find out more information about live-today.org, feel free to go out to our website. We have information out there for you, but I am super duper excited to share with you our very special guest, Miss Teena Francois-Blue. Now, Miss Francois-Blue is a very passionate community advocate, epidemiologist, educator, and entrepreneur who is committed to achieving social justice and health equity for communities of color. Her career has focused on health disparities research and the use of that knowledge to drive system-level change. Join us for a very powerful discussion right now, right here, and please open up your hearts and your ears and receive our very special guest, Miss Teena Francois-Blue. Teena, welcome to the show.
Dr. Shuri, thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here on your show. I watch your show all the time, and I always leave feeling so inspired. And just, I think you are just a wonderful person, and the foundation is amazing and really providing resources out here. So this is an honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, I should preface, no, I am not paying Teena for all those wonderful words that she just gave, but I will preface that Teena and I have known each other for many years now. We met in our joint effort and work as it relates to health disparity and working on that journey towards health equity with African American women as it relates to breast cancer. But our work prior to us meeting, both have worked in the health equity space on a number of different, not only disease processes, but social determinants of health as well. But we clicked and bonded in our experience as it relates to breast cancer because one, you guys know I'm an 11-year breast cancer survivor, very passionate about it. Both her and I both have our masters in public health, so we understand population health and we want to get in and make and drive system change to have a truly long-lasting generational impact, right, for generations to come.
And really we want to make sure that we take this information and we put it in the hands of the individuals who are living this experience every day.
Absolutely.
And there is always an opportunity for individuals to digest this information and apply it to their own lives and share it with their friends and share it with their family. Ask questions of their physicians, ask questions of the individuals and the organizations that they may interface with. And that's really the way in which this work at not only the population level, but also this work has bidirectional impact at the grassroots level and all the way up to the policy level.
Fantastic. Now, you brought some very significant, pertinent information to share. Now, let me forewarn you, Teena is going to be almost like a regular on our show because we have a lot of information that we want to share about what has been noticed and what has opportunities for us to do better and be better right here in the Chicagoland area. And obviously not enough time to get it in one show, but I will have her back because I need my viewers and my listeners out there on Facebook to be able to appreciate what we are living with and dealing with right here in our very own city of Chicago. But then we also want to give tools of how we can do better.
Absolutely.
And we want to showcase organizations that are truly making a difference so that we can no longer, and we will not be bound to working in silos any longer to address the changes that need to occur right here in Chicagoland.
Absolutely.
All right. So would you like us to jump right in?
We can jump right in.
All right, love. All right. So we're going to jump right in. What are we looking at right here?
So the information that I brought to share with you today, over the past 12, 13 years, when we began actually looking at breast cancer disparities and starting to understand those, we really look at actual mortality rates as one of those indicators. So we look at the difference in terms of the rate at which African American women are dying compared to their Caucasian counterparts. And let's just be clear that we do want to say, in terms of how we want to see improvements in breast cancer mortality, we don't want to see anyone dying. But the things that are troubling, if you can advance to slide 2, The things that we see that are troubling is the gap between the darkest shaded line, which is African American women, and the lighter shade of pink, which is Caucasian women or white women. That the gap between their mortality rates is showing that there are more black women dying from this disease than white women, and that's an unnecessary difference. That means that there are things that are going on in terms of access to care, exposure to different access to resources. There's individual level issues. There's issues in which the way policy and the trickle down of how policy impacts communities individually, all along that trajectory.
Yes.
Those things are impacting how African American women are able to survive this disease. And so another important thing to note is that this data is not only underserved women. It's not only women who don't have insurance. This literally is all black women.
Wow.
And all white women.
So let me go back to this again. So go back to the second line. So this, when we're looking at these lines here, so when we're looking at the number 4, looking at the line for black women, this is not delineated in
any way.
In any way.
These are all all African American women who died of breast cancer during these time periods. So the numbers at the bottom of the graph, those are years.
Okay.
So starting at 2000 all the way up to 2017, every year there's a data point in terms of when the point around for African American mortality rate as well compared to the rate for Caucasian women.
Okay.
And the bar graph to the right of that is literally a graph of the distance or the degree of difference between those two lines. It's the disparity.
Aha.
It's the degree at which African American women are dying greater than Caucasian women by each one of those years. And so an important note is that over the past I would say the past couple years, we had around 2014, we had a study that came out, 2 important papers that showed that we were actually we had made progress, which is great. But we can't sacrifice the war because we've won a few battles. And we have to, there's been, I think, a shift in perspective in that people are thinking that we've succeeded in eliminating disparities. But that is absolutely not the case at all.
Because it rises back up again.
It rises back up in
see.
2015, 2016, and it dropped back down in 2017. So so one of the things to take away from this is to say on a year-to-year basis across Chicagoland, there's any number of things that may cause significant fluctuations from year to year.
Yes.
If you advance to the last slide, we average that out over 5-year periods, which kind of normalizes the year-to-year noise.
Okay.
And that gives us a better perspective on what the trend has actually been like. So really between 2000 and 2005-06, we had a significant drop in mortality for African American women. Again, that's the darker shaded pink.
Yes.
And for Caucasian women, it did dip as well, but not as sharply. And that's just to say that rate was already low. And so
Already
that means
low.
that women are actually accessing services and accessing things that they need.
Correct.
But if you look at kind of the shift towards the latter 10 years, we really haven't moved that much. We've actually kind of inked up a bit towards the tail end around 2015, 2017. And that's just a sign that we're not done yet.
Correct.
The efforts and the work of all of the organizations that are in this space, we have a lot more to do. Now, the beautiful thing is that we can learn from the experiences where we've seen significant dips and improvements in the disparity.
Yes.
That gives us an inclination of that some of our efforts are working.
Yes.
And that points to where we need to look at, so what was contributing to that success, but also what is contributing to the persistence of disparities in some communities across the city of Chicago.
Correct.
And also in Southern Cook County as well.
Correct. So previously, I want to put up the on the screen again. So what I want the viewers to appreciate is that the distance between that dark pink line and that lighter pink line, that gap demonstrates a disparity.
Yes.
Okay? And so even when you see a decline in that dark pink line, that it's coming down, until that line meets
Yes,
pink,
the
light
light
pink
pink
line,
line.
there is still a disparity there. We are still dying at an alarming rate, higher than our Caucasian
Yes.
counterparts, right? And so when we see the decline, I think a lot of times what happens, especially when you are dealing with system-wide change, systems tend to get excited about, oh, there's a decline.
Right,
There's a
exactly.
And so people will hone in on that decrease, decline, less of. They'll hone in on those terms.
Exactly.
But that does not mean that the work has been done, that we have reached our max for declining, it means that we've moved the needle a titch. But if you don't continue to drive home that the work is not finished, then that needle moves an inch, and the next thing you know, it's shooting back up again.
Exactly.
Because we let our guards down.
We let our eyes off the prize. Mm-hmm. Eyes off the prize. And so I think it's a really important thing to know that, like the caller who was calling in to ask about information, when we, and it's not a misrepresentation of information. We have to be clear in how we're articulating progress and how we're still articulating the work that has to be done moving forward. Correct. So that non-data people are not, so that again, people who are directly impacted by this can also use this information to improve things within their own lives, and they can apply this. So just to, let individuals know, the community know, the city of Chicago, the Chicago Department of Public Health has information. The Chicago Atlas is available for the public to consume and actually read and understand and digest trends and all types of information. And so that's a resource and an important tool for the community and for organizations who are doing health equity or work in the health equity space or in the social justice space to be able to access information to inform how they are doing their work.
Correct.
And they can keep track of that over time.
Correct. And see, one of the things that is extremely important for us to consider, especially in this health disparity, health equity arena, is, and to Bill's point, I know he was bringing up, he wanted to understand, research, and in particularly, stem cell. One of the things that Teena and I are going to discuss as we continue on this series is identifying and making it known that a problem exists, right?
Exactly.
And then once we do that, we can delve deeper into, well, what are the definitive known causes for this, and then what are suspected causes that could be contributing to the disparity, right? And then after identifying that, those causes and potential causes, now what's the game plan for how do we move the needle? How do we now take those causes and now we either eliminate them, we diminish their effect, and through what organizations are we going to do it? Is this going to be at the individual level? Will it be at the group level? Will it be at a system level?
Exactly.
Is it at a program level? And that's what we want to try to educate the public, because at the end of the day, when, let's say, we achieve the dark pink meets the light pink, okay? When I'm diagnosed, even after they met, we're not eliminating breast cancer diagnosis, treatment, or deaths, right?
Exactly.
What we're working towards eliminating is that the system is equal for us all, so that we all have a chance. And if the incidence of disease and the incidence and prevalence of a disease and the incidence and the mortality rate, if they're equal, that's what we're trying to get at, while we're also on the other end trying to work towards a cure and prevention, right?
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, even if we achieve that woman, black or white, but we're focusing on African Americans right now, that woman is still diagnosed. Even after we wipe out the disparity, that is still a human life that has to deal with that diagnosis. And so I said all of that to say it becomes a very individual process when you get that diagnosis.
Absolutely.
And therefore, it becomes a very individual process through your treatment course, whether or not you choose to participate in the clinical trial, whether or not you ask your treating physician about the possibility of stem cells, or about the possibility of being included in a clinical trial, or about the possibility of not having to go through chemo because the genotype of your particular cancer cells indicate that your risk of, or your chances of survival and or risk of recurrence is not that different whether or not you get chemo or not. You know, being able to know that there are other options out there, it is still going to have to start with you.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're talking to other organizations. You and I are working on similar projects that will arm oncologists with the right questions to ask their minority patients or to propose to them. But at the same time, we're also arming
The
patients
Exactly.
to ask the question and not expect that your physician is going to ask you all the right questions.
Exactly.
Right?
It's important for there to be that participatory, that relationship.
Yes.
This person now, your oncologist, that team now becomes as important to you as any other member of your family. They are your family.
Correct.
Because they're a part, if you don't have the ability to really engage with them and to be able to feel free to ask questions. And there is no such thing as a stupid question.
No.
Because this is about you being able to understand how do you live today,
Correct.
tomorrow, and the day after.
Yes.
And how do you make sure that your family members have the appropriate information to support you during that journey. And I think the thing that is so rewarding about this work, and I'm a part of a collaborative that we've been doing this, and I just had a presentation on Friday revealing this data, led by the Sisters Working It Out and led by Patient Advocate Foundation.
I was there. They did a fantastic job.
And elevated survivorship. So I think, these organizations and many organizations that you have been working with, really, again, the goal is to, like you said, really make sure that all of these things that don't have any real thing to do with the patients individually, that we can put our hands around what information is missing for patients, what resources are being either intentionally or unintentionally withheld. How do we ensure that all of those things are not there, that those barriers, those roadblocks are removed so that a patient can literally just be and understand and digest this diagnosis and really go through this journey without unnecessary roadblocks that hinder and impede their survivorship.
Exactly.
That's the goal of all of the work that we're doing, and we've been successful. Again, we have contributed and we've learned a lot. We are not done. Women are still dying from this disease.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there are women who are being diagnosed, African American women who are being diagnosed at younger ages.
Yes.
And the system actually doesn't really understand, it's not situated such that it really can support systematically how to get younger women in for screening. For diagnosing their and finding their cancer at earlier ages. So we're still improving our screening technology.
Correct.
And I think it's important for people to understand that screening in and of screening does not mean that prevents cancer.
No, not at all.
That means it's early detection.
Correct.
And with early detection, we have better modalities to actually, where we can have a curative conversation.
Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly right.
And then for our metastatic sisters, I think, again, more supports are needed to fully understand what this means and how do we support women who are metastatic and really being able to wrap our arms around them and support them through their journey as well. So as I said, there's a lot of work still left to be done.
Yes.
And I think there's no one organization that will be able to solve this problem. It is going to take a collaborative. It's going to take all of us coming in together and taking a part of this problem that we commit to, seeing it through to the end.
Exactly. Now listen, guys, if you're interested in how you can further support the Live Today Foundation, please go out to our website at www.live-today.org. We are looking for volunteers. We are looking for partners that will help us meet our mission of providing those free compression garments to cancer survivors who are living with lymphedema. And we are working towards earnestly educating physicians about how to properly diagnose lymphedema and to educate patients about the importance of actually getting treated. We also want to make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at livetoday.org. That's livetoday.org. And we are super excited and so thankful to Miss Teena. Miss
you so
Teena, isn't she
much.
absolutely
Thank you so
gorgeous?
much.
Listen, we want you guys to stay tuned. We want you to see you back
Yeah.
here December 11th at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, when we'll continue this discussion on how to live a life of transformation and healing. Thanks to my producers, Carlisa Crawford, Karen Roberts, and the Fabulous Vibes. I'm Dr. Cherie, and remember, be present, take charge of your life, and live today and every day.
Yes.
God bless, guys.